What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're talking about an Aventus clone. I know for some of you that can be like, God, another one. I kind of feel that way too. God, another one. But once in a while you come across one that's a gem, and that's pretty much how I feel about this. This is from Khadlaj. This is Infini Absolute. And this one surprised me. This one surprised me quite a bit for the quality and for the twist on the DNA, because it's not a carbon copy of Aventus. It does have its own thing going, and we're going to discuss that here in just a minute. So stay tuned. So before we jump into the full review, this was sent to me by the good folks over at Aroma Concepts. If you're interested in checking it out, there's links down below to two different markets, the US market and the European market, with 10% off code. Obviously, buy at your own risk, and take my opinion with a grain of salt, because it is just that. It's my opinion. And speaking of, let's discuss my opinion, shall we? So first things first, we'll take a quick look at the presentation. So it's actually a decent box. Le Parfum. It is a parfum concentration, and it smells as such. It's rich. We'll get to that in just a moment. Batch code, manufacturing date, and all that good stuff right there. The slide out type. Bottle fits right into there, but I mean, it's a box. Now the bottle is on the stranger side. It almost looks like a knob in a luxury car. Like, think, I believe BMW had knobs similar to this, the cap. But actually hefty and feels of quality, just a funny looking shape. This is a matte black finish, says the name of the fragrance on the front. You have some info on the bottom on the sticker. If I get it to focus, that would be great. See, it says Eau de Parfum on the sticker, but it smells like a higher concentration, like at least a 22%. I don't know the percentage, but it's rich. It really is, says the name of the brand on top. Cap clicks super strong into place, and the atomizer puts out quite a bit. Really good atomizer. Let's talk about this scent. So I'll give myself a spray on my hand. Why not? I wore it earlier today. So when this one opens, you're getting fruitiness. Bergamot, apple, pineapple top. The difference here is you don't have that bitter, tart, fruity smell, that darker fruitiness of black currant. That's omitted from this. And I don't smell it at all. So I believe this note breakdown, which I'll have on screen by this point, I'm sure. A lot of birch, though. It still has the smokiness. It's the smoky, fruity pineapple smell that you've come to know, most people have come to know and love, anyways, about Aventus. But biggest difference here is you don't have the muskiness. You don't have the darker fruitiness of the black currant, because this one quickly becomes about the vetiver. This is a very vetiver-forward take on the Aventus DNA. On the website, it even says Creed Aventus Twist, because it is Creed Aventus with a twist. It's not the exact same. So there's plenty of earthiness. It's dark, rich, and smoky. And like I was saying, like I kind of led up to when we were talking about the presentation and even in the intro, it's a rich, thick smell. It actually smells like it's a higher oil concentration than even Aventus. Like, it's thick. And the quality is actually really good here. I was surprised. It does not smell cheap and synthetic. This is a $41 fragrance USD before any discount codes. I'm very much impressed by this one. I've worn it 2 full wearings now and a bunch of test sprays at this point. And in my first impressions, I was kind of taken back by this one. In the haul video when I got it in, this is so good. It has a lot more of the apple than it does pineapple. You still get that juiciness of the pineapple. I don't get much bergamot from it. I really don't. Get more apple with a little bit of pineapple, a lot of birch. I don't really get much of a rosy smell. I don't get a ton of patchouli either. It does add a little bit of an earthy feel, because as this fruitiness settles, like I said before, dominated by vetiver. And not the most earthy vetiver in the world. And I can't really tell if there's additional smokiness from it because of the birch. I already have a smoke-dominant note that stands out early on. So I think it just kind of accentuates it. It's not too smoky of a fragrance, but if you like smoky fragrances, which I do, you're going to like this. This is much more smoky than it is fruity. I think the way I would rank these accords is smoky, woody, then citrus, fruity. I think that's the way I would rate them, with like the top 4 accords, because it's quite smoky. It's like a smoky batch of Aventus full of vetiver. So they could be playing off of one another, the birch and the vetiver, to enhance that kind of aroma of the smoky smell. But Who knows? I just know it smells really freaking good, and I'm impressed by this one. I would take this over fragrances like Mont Blanc Explorer, for example. The new Hollister fragrance that I got that smells like Explorer, Canyon Escape. I would take this over Club de Nuit Intense Man, the Eau de Toilette. I would put this up there with some of my favorites like Supremacy Not Only Intense from Afnan, Club de Nuit Intense Man, Limited Edition Parfum. I do like this more than Club de Nuit Intense Man Pure Parfum. Like this one a bit more than that one. Like I said, it jumped ahead of some that are, I would consider my favorites because I just have so many fragrances that have their own take, twist, or whatever on Aventus. But this one definitely jumped up into, I would say, arguably the top 5 of my favorite Aventus clones that are on the more affordable side. Because this one actually smells pretty damn high quality. I'm impressed by it, and it's super smoky. So if you're a fan of the Aventus DNA, but you want the smoky stuff, vetiver and birch. That's what it's all about. Now, as far as performance, not a monster, not a beast. It's strong, but it's not a ridiculous room-filling beast. It's not, at least not the way I spray it. I spray it 4 to 5 sprays because it's pretty strong on my skin, but I still wouldn't call it a room filler. Longevity has been kind of 8 to 10 hours is kind of the safe range for what I've been experiencing with it. Again, very strong, but I wouldn't classify it as a beast. And the same thing goes with the projection. 4 to 5 sprays has been plenty because the first 2 hours is actually pretty strong. I would consider it beyond arm's reach, above average, moderate to heavy type of projection. It's very strong early on. It does have a pretty good brightness to it in the top early stages of the fragrance. And as it settles, it's more of a moderate to mild sillage. So there's a bit of a shift. Really heavy projection with a, somewhat strong scent bubble following it. I wouldn't say it's a moderate. And what I mean by moderate, usually when I rate moderate in the sillage, it's because I get pretty strong whiffs of it throughout the remaining life of the fragrance, whereas I get mild whiffs. I get light whiffs reminding me it's there, but I do get random hits and wafts of the fragrance. That's why I consider it moderate to mild, because a mild sillage, I got to look for it. Anytime I have to look for it, you'll hear me rate the sillage as mild. So this is a step above that. I don't have to look for it. It definitely reminds me that it's there. So again, I would say across the board, nothing beastly here, but definitely in that very strong category, pretty much across the board. Final thoughts on Infini Absolute from Khadlaj. I'm impressed by this one. It has not shot up as my favorite Creed Aventus clone, but it has shot up as one of my favorites. I'm still very torn because I don't put it up there with fragrances like BondNumber9.com, which is very fresh, fruity, similar to Aventus. Like none of the niche ones. As far as the more affordable ones, the Middle Eastern ones, some of the designer ones, I'm talking about things that smell like Creed Aventus. As far as Middle Eastern and designer, this is definitely in the top 5. It's kind of a toss-up with Supremacy Not Only Intense and Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition Parfum, because those are my 2 favorites as far as those categories are concerned. And this one's right up there. I don't know how I would adjust them 1 through 3, but that's pretty much the top 3. So because of that, I know it's not, I guess it's not going to be as high as those. I guess it's technically number 3 because I'm not going to give it as high of a rating because I gave both of those like 8.5s and 9s. And I'm going to give this a great rating, though, at 8 out of 10. I think this is a nice, interesting take. If you're looking for smoky and woody without the heft of the muskiness, you don't maybe like blackcurrant. Maybe that bitter fruitiness is kind of a turnoff for you, that inkiness that it can provide. I've always liked that about it, but the way they compose this, I think it really works and works into its favor, the way the scent profile was done. It lacks the muskiness, it lacks some of the fruitiness, but it makes up for it with smokiness and a very, very woody vetiver. I don't even consider it all that earthy, but there's a little bit of earthiness to it. So it's great, 8 out of 10. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Khadlaj Infini Absolute. Very impressed by this one. Like I said before, 8 out of 10, great rating for a great fragrance. And once again, thank you so much to Aroma Concepts for sending this my way. This will make its way in and out of the rotation from time to time, just like the other 2 that I mentioned, Supremacy Not Only Intense and Limited Edition Parfum from Armoff. That's the 2 I like to reach for when I'm in the mood for these more affordable Aventus smelling fragrances. This one just went into that grouping because it's pretty damn good. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried this before? Are you a fan of it? Did you not like it? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you disagree with my assessment? Are you interested in checking it out? I'd love to hear what you guys think down below. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on Infini Absolute from Khadlaj and give it a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Who knows? Have a good one, guys.